The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. Picture this. It's 1661, and Nicolas Fouquet is living his absolute best life. He's the finance minister to King Louis XIV of France, which basically means he's swimming in money, influence, and prestige. He's the guy everyone wants to know, the man with the golden touch. But lately, he's been sensing a chill in the air. The king's favor seems to be slipping through his fingers like sand, and Fouquet? Well, he decides to throw the most legendary party in human history to win it back. This wasn't just any party. This was the party to end all parties. Fouquet hosted it at his brand new chateau, a palace so magnificent, it would literally inspire Versailles. Think about that for a second. Versailles, the most famous palace in the world, was basically a knockoff of this guy's house. The guest list? Europe's brightest minds and most influential nobles. The food? Exotic delicacies that nobody in France had ever tasted before. Entertainment? Oh, just a brand new play by Molière making its debut. And as night fell, the gardens exploded into a fireworks display that turned the sky into something out of a fever dream. Fouquet floated through the evening on cloud nine. Every gasp of wonder, every stunned face, every moment of awe, he interpreted as proof of his brilliance and loyalty. He thought he was cementing his position, he thought he was making himself untouchable. But while Fouquet was basking in his triumph, King Louis XIV was watching. And what he saw wasn't devotion. He saw his own subjects, his own friends, looking at his finance minister with more admiration than they'd ever shown him. He saw a man who wasn't just honoring his king, but overshadowing him. The party wasn't a gift, it was a threat. The next day, Nicolas Fouquet was arrested. He spent the remaining 20 years of his life locked in a solitary cell, never again seeing the world he'd tried so desperately to conquer. His crime? He'd made the fatal mistake of outshining his master. This isn't just some dusty history lesson, this is your warning. This is the opening salvo of a book that's been called dangerous, brilliant, evil, and essential, sometimes all in the same breath. A book that's been quietly passed around boardrooms, locker rooms, and corridors of power for over 2 decades. Like contraband for ambitious minds. This is the 48 Laws of Power. Robert Greene wrote this after dedicating his entire life to studying history's greatest players. From Machiavelli to Sun Tzu, from Queen Elizabeth I to Henry Kissinger, he pulled apart their strategies, their wins, their catastrophic failures. And what he created isn't some feel-good guide to making friends and influencing people. This is the brutal, unvarnished truth about human interaction in a world where everyone, whether they admit it or not, is playing the game of power. It's sold millions of copies, been translated into dozens of languages, and has become a kind of secret handshake among people who understand that beneath the surface of polite society, ancient dynamics are constantly at play. So why should you dive into something so controversial? Because, as Greene puts it, the world is one giant, scheming court. And here's the kicker. Whether you want to play or not, you're already on the board. You didn't sign up for it, but you're in the game. Power isn't good or evil, it's a tool. And it's far better to be the artist wielding that tool than the poor fool getting crushed by it. Now let's dive into these laws. Buckle up. Law 1. Never outshine the master. We already saw what happened to poor Fouquet, but let's hammer this home. Making your boss or superior look bad, even accidentally, is career suicide. Actually, it's worse than that. It's social suicide, political suicide, sometimes literal suicide if you're unlucky enough to live in the wrong century. When you outshine someone above you, You're not impressing them, you're threatening them. You're making them feel inadequate, insecure, and replaceable. And people who feel threatened don't promote you, they eliminate you. The smart play? Make your brilliance serve them. Let them shine while you operate the machinery behind the scenes. Be the kingmaker, not the king. It's safer, often more powerful, and you get to keep your head. Law 2. Never put too much trust in friends. Learn how to use enemies. This one's going to sting a bit. Friends are lovely, but they're also jealous, entitled, and quick to assume they deserve special treatment. Give them too much power, and watch how fast gratitude turns into resentment. Enemies, on the other hand, they have everything to prove. Win over a former enemy, and you've got someone fiercely loyal, someone who owes you, someone who won't take your generosity for granted. They'll work twice as hard because they know they're on thin ice. Friendship is beautiful, but power dynamics? They're brutal. Keep your eyes open. Law 3. Conceal your intentions. Ever play poker? Then you know this law instinctively. The moment people know what you're after, they can block you, compete with you, or worse, use your own plans against you. Keep them guessing. Use smokescreens, false trails, red herrings. Talk about one thing while quietly pursuing another. When your moves are invisible, resistance is impossible. Law 4. Always say less than necessary. Talking too much is the hallmark of the insecure and the powerless. When you ramble, when you over-explain, when you fill every silence with nervous chatter, you give away information, reveal your anxieties, and dilute your power. The powerful are comfortable with silence. Their words carry weight precisely because they're rare. Say less, mean more. Let others scramble to interpret your brevity. Mystery is magnetic. Law 5. So much depends on reputation. Guard it with your life. Your reputation precedes you, follows you, and often determines whether doors open or slam shut. It's your most valuable asset, and once damaged, it's incredibly difficult to repair. Build a reputation for one quality, one strength, and protect it ruthlessly. If you're known for reliability, never miss a deadline. If you're known for honesty, never bend the truth. Your reputation is your power, amplified across time and space. Law 6. Court attention at all costs. Obscurity is death. In a world overflowing with noise, being ignored is the ultimate failure. You must be seen, talked about, remembered. Create spectacle, controversy, mystery. Better to be criticized than forgotten. Better to be gossiped about than invisible. Attention is currency, and without it, nothing else matters. Law 7. Get others to do the work for you, but always take the credit. This sounds harsh, and it kind of is. But look around. The person who gets credit isn't always the person who did the work. It's the person who positioned themselves as essential to the outcome. Use the skills, talents, and labor of others to build your own empire. Edison didn't invent most of the things attributed to him. He assembled teams of brilliant people and stamped his name on their innovations. Smart? Absolutely. Fair? That's another question entirely. Law 8. Make other people come to you. Use bait if necessary. When you go chasing after opportunities, relationships, or deals, you put yourself in a weaker position. You're the supplicant, the one in need. Flip the script. Create situations where others come to you. Offer something irresistible, then sit back and let them make the effort. When they come to your territory, you control the environment, set the terms, and hold the power. Law 9. Win through your actions, never through argument. Arguments are exhausting, unproductive, and breed resentment even when you win. Words are cheap. Actions are irrefutable. Want to prove you're right? Don't argue. Demonstrate. Show them through results, through success, through undeniable evidence. Let your accomplishments do the talking, and watch disagreement evaporate in the face of reality. Law 10. Infection. Avoid the unhappy and unlucky. This one feels brutal, but emotional states are contagious. Spend time around negative, bitter, unlucky people, and watch how quickly their worldview seeps into yours. Protect your mental space like a fortress. Seek out the positive, the successful, the energized. Not because you're cruel, but because you understand that your environment shapes you more than you'd like to admit. Law 11. Learn to keep people dependent on you. Independence is valuable for you, but you want others to need you. The moment you become dispensable, you become vulnerable. Cultivate unique skills, knowledge, or connections. Be the person with the key information, the crucial contact, the irreplaceable expertise. When people depend on you, they can't afford to let you go. Law 12. Use selective honesty and generosity to disarm your victim. Here's a counterintuitive truth. A single act of generosity, or a moment of seemingly heartfelt honesty, can disarm suspicion more effectively than 1,000 reassurances. When you need someone to lower their guard, give them something real. Be genuinely helpful once, honest about one vulnerability, generous when they least expect it. It throws them off balance and makes them forget you might have other motives. Law 13. When asking for help, appeal to people's self-interest, never to their mercy or gratitude. People don't help you out of the goodness of their hearts. They help you when it benefits them. Mercy and gratitude are weak foundations. Self-interest is rock solid. When you need something, frame it in terms of what's in it for them. Show them the benefit, the opportunity, the advantage. Make helping you the smart move, not the charitable one. Law 14. Pose as a friend, work as a spy. Every interaction is an opportunity to gather intelligence. Ask seemingly innocent questions. Observe carefully. Listen more than you speak. Information is power, and the best information comes from people who don't realize they're sharing it. Be friendly, warm, trustworthy. And while building genuine connections, stay alert. Knowledge is leverage, and the more you know about the people around you, the better positioned you are. Law 15. Crush your enemy totally. Half measures in conflict are worse than doing nothing at all. Leave an enemy wounded but alive, and they'll recover, learn from their mistakes, and come back stronger, angrier, and more dangerous. When you must engage in conflict, finish it decisively. Total victory isn't cruelty, it's strategic intelligence. Anything less invites future problems. Law 16. Use absence to increase respect and honor. Constant availability breeds contempt. When you're always there, always accessible, always available, you become furniture, comfortable, useful, ignored. Create scarcity. Disappear occasionally. Make your presence something to be valued rather than assumed. The more you're seen, the more ordinary you become. The less you're seen, the more you're appreciated. Law 17. Keep others in suspended terror. Cultivate an air of unpredictability. Humans crave patterns. We find comfort in predictability. Use this against them. When you're unpredictable, people can't strategize against you. They can't anticipate your moves or prepare defenses. Be consistent enough to be trusted, but unpredictable enough to keep people slightly off balance. It's a delicate balance, but incredibly powerful when done right. Law 18. Do not build fortresses to protect yourself. Isolation is dangerous. Retreating behind walls, whether literal or metaphorical, makes you a target. It signals fear, weakness, vulnerability. Worse, it cuts you off from the information and connections you need to survive. Stay connected, visible, engaged. Your safety doesn't come from isolation. It comes from being so integrated into the social fabric that removing you would cause too much disruption. Law 19. Know who you're dealing with. Do not offend the wrong person. Not everyone responds to challenges the same way. Some people shrug off insults. Others plot revenge for decades. The difference? Knowing who you're dealing with. Study people carefully before you engage. Understand their temperament, their triggers, their capacity for retaliation. Treat some people with kid gloves, not because you're afraid, but because you're smart. Law 20. Do not commit to anyone. The moment you fully commit to a person, group, or cause, you lose flexibility. You become predictable, manipulable, and sometimes expendable. Stay somewhat aloof. Keep your options open. Play different sides when advantageous. Independence is power. Commitment is often a cage. Law 21. Play a sucker to catch a sucker. Seem dumber than your mark. People love feeling superior. When you appear naive, less intelligent, or less savvy than you are, people underestimate you. They reveal information, lower their guard, and make mistakes. Hide your intelligence strategically. Let others think they're the smart ones. And while they're busy feeling superior, you're busy learning, planning, and positioning yourself for the win. Law 22. Use the surrender tactic. Transform weakness into power. Sometimes the strongest move is to yield. Surrender disarms aggression, buys you time, and allows you to regroup without the costs of prolonged resistance. When fighting back is futile, surrender strategically. Bend but don't break. Survive to fight another day when conditions are more favorable. Knowing when to retreat is as important as knowing when to advance. Law 23. Concentrate your forces. Spreading yourself thin weakens everything you do. Scattered effort produces scattered results. The powerful focus intensely on a single point until they achieve dominance there. Find your strength and double down on it. Become exceptional in one area rather than mediocre in many. Concentration creates breakthroughs. Dispersion creates exhaustion. Law 24. Play the perfect courtier. Court life isn't just for royalty. Every workplace, every social circle, every community has its own court dynamics. Masters of this game understand how to navigate politics without getting dirty. Be diplomatic, charming, and aware of unspoken hierarchies. Flatter without seeming fake. Agree without becoming a yes man. Navigate the social chessboard with grace, and you'll rise without making enemies. Law 25. Recreate yourself. You're not stuck being who you've always been. Identity is performance, and you can change the script. Don't let others define you by your past or box you into a single role. Reinvent yourself deliberately and dramatically when needed. Control your own narrative. Be the author of your identity rather than letting circumstances write your story. Law 26. Keep your hands clean. When dirty work needs doing, never do it yourself. Find intermediaries. Create plausible deniability. Ensure that blame falls elsewhere while you remain untouchable. Your reputation is too valuable to risk unnecessary but unseemly actions. Others can be the bad guys. You stay pristine, sympathetic, blameless. Law 27. Play on people's need to believe to create a cult-like following. Humans desperately want to believe in something larger than themselves. Offer them a cause, a vision, a sense of belonging, and they'll follow with frightening devotion. Give people something to believe in, rituals to perform, an identity to adopt. The emotional bond you create transcends logic and creates loyalty that facts can't shake. Law 28. Enter action with boldness. Hesitation broadcasts doubt. Timidity invites challenge. When you act, act decisively, confidently, boldly. Even if you're not entirely sure, never let them see you waver. Boldness has a magic to it. It attracts attention, inspires confidence, and often succeeds simply because no one expects someone to be that audacious. Fortune favors the bold because the bold don't wait for permission. Law 29. Plan all the way to the end. Most people plan their first move, maybe their second. The powerful? They're already thinking about the end game before they start. Anticipate consequences. Plan for multiple scenarios. Think several moves ahead. When you know where you want to end up, the path becomes clearer. When others react to immediate circumstances, you're already 3 steps ahead. Law 30. Make your accomplishments seem effortless. Struggle might be noble, but it's not impressive. When people see how hard you worked, they focus on your effort rather than your talent. Make everything look easy. Hide the hours of practice, the failures, the grinding work. Present only the polished result. Effortless mastery creates awe. Visible struggle creates sympathy at best, contempt at worst. Law 31. Control the options. Get others to play with the cards you deal. Give people choices, but make sure all the choices lead to outcomes that benefit you. When you control the options, you control the outcome without anyone realizing they never had real freedom. Frame decisions so that every path leads somewhere you want to go. People feel empowered by choice, even when the game is rigged. It's the illusion of control that matters. Law 32. Play to people's fantasies. Truth is harsh, reality is disappointing, and facts are boring. Fantasies? Fantasies are irresistible. People will choose comforting fantasy over uncomfortable truth every single time. Sell dreams, not reality. Offer transformation, not incremental improvement. Speak to their deepest desires, their secret hopes. Logic appeals to the mind, but fantasy captures the heart. Law 33. Discover each man's thumbscrew. Everyone has a weakness, an insecurity, a secret desire. Find it, and you have leverage. Not to be cruel, but to understand what motivates them, what they'll trade anything to protect or obtain. Study people's histories, their reactions, their vulnerabilities. When you know what someone truly wants or fears, you can predict them, influence them, and if necessary, control them. Law 34. Be royal in your own fashion. Act like a king to be treated like one. People judge you by how you present yourself. Carry yourself with dignity, confidence, and self-assuredness, and others will instinctively respect you. Don't apologize for taking up space. Don't diminish yourself to make others comfortable. When you believe in your own worth, others have no choice but to believe it too. Confidence creates its own reality. Law 35. Master the art of timing. The right action at the wrong time fails. The mediocre action at the perfect time succeeds. Timing isn't everything, but it's close. Learn to wait, to recognize the moment, to strike when conditions are optimal. Patience isn't weakness. It's strategic intelligence. The impatient rush in and fail. The patient wait for the perfect moment and dominate. Law 36. Disdain things you cannot have. Ignoring them is the best revenge. When you obsess over what you can't have, you broadcast weakness and desperation. When you act like something doesn't matter, it loses its power over you. Can't have something? Act like you never wanted it. The grapes are probably sour anyway. Your indifference is more powerful than any protest, complaint, or display of desire. Law 37. Create compelling spectacles. People think with their eyes. Striking imagery, dramatic gestures, and visual symbolism bypass rational thought and speak directly to emotions. Create moments people will remember and talk about. Make your ideas, your brand, your presence, visually arresting. A good story told with compelling images beats a great argument any day. Law 38. Think as you like, but behave like others. Your thoughts are your own, but when you broadcast radical ideas or behave too differently, you make yourself a target. Blend in outwardly, while thinking independently inwardly. Don't advertise your differences. Play by the surface rules while maintaining your own internal code. Conformity is camouflage. Use it to move freely, while others paint targets on their backs for the sake of standing out. Law 39. Stir up waters to catch fish. When everything is calm and people are comfortable, they're careful, guarded, strategic. Create chaos, trigger emotions, unbalance the situation, and watch how people reveal their true selves. Stay calm yourself, while everyone else loses their composure. In the resulting confusion, opportunities appear that would never exist in ordered circumstances. Sometimes, you need to break things to see what's really there. Law 40. Despise the free lunch. What's offered for free usually costs more than you realize. Free things come with strings, expectations, hidden prices. And worse, they train you to undervalue what you receive. Pay your own way. What you pay for, you value. What you earn, you appreciate. Free lunch might fill your stomach, but it empties your power. Independence has a price, and it's always worth paying. Law 41. Avoid stepping into a great man's shoes. Following a legend is a losing game. You'll always be compared unfavorably to their mythologized version. Their shadow will swallow your accomplishments. Create your own path. Establish yourself in new territory where comparison is impossible. You can't win by being the second version of someone else. You win by being the first version of you. Law 42. Strike the shepherd and the sheep will scatter. Groups, movements, and organizations usually revolve around a central figure. Remove that keystone, and the entire structure collapses. Identify the real source of power, the person everyone orbits. Deal with them, and you've dealt with the entire problem. Don't waste energy on followers when you can eliminate the leader. Law 43. Work on the hearts and minds of others. Coercion creates resentment. Fear creates rebellion waiting to happen. But when you win hearts and minds, you create willing followers who serve you because they want to, not because they have to. Appeal to emotions, share values, create connection. When people feel aligned with you, they become your advocates, your defenders, your partners. This is power that doesn't require constant enforcement. Law 44. Disarm and infuriate with the mirror effect. Give people a taste of their own medicine by mirroring their behavior, and watch how quickly they're thrown off balance. Reflect their actions back at them, and they can't attack you without attacking themselves. It's psychological judo. Use their own energy and tactics against them. They can't condemn you without condemning their own behavior. It's elegant, subtle, and devastatingly effective. Law 45. Preach the need for change, but never reform too much at once. People claim they want change, but what they really want is improvement that doesn't threaten what they're comfortable with. Too much change too fast creates panic and resistance. Introduce change gradually. Frame it as preserving the best of the past rather than destroying it. Honor tradition even as you transform it. Evolution works better than revolution when you want changes to stick. Law 46. Never appear too perfect. Perfection creates envy and suspicion. People don't trust those who seem to have no flaws. They resent those who appear to have it all figured out. Show occasional harmless weaknesses. Make small mistakes. Be relatable. Imperfection is disarming and makes your real strengths seem more genuine rather than threatening. Perfect is scary. Almost perfect is human. Law 47. Do not go past the mark you aimed for. In victory, learn when to stop. Victory is intoxicating, and success makes you feel invincible. This is precisely when you're most vulnerable. Overconfidence leads to overreach, and overreach leads to collapse. Know when to stop pushing. Recognize when you've won and consolidate, rather than continuing to advance into increasingly risky territory. More isn't always better. Sometimes winning means knowing when to stop playing. Law 48. Assume formlessness. The moment you become rigid, predictable, defined, you become vulnerable. Fixed positions can be targeted. Consistent patterns can be exploited. Stay fluid, adaptable, undefined. Be water, as Bruce Lee said. Flow around obstacles rather than smashing through them. When no one can pin you down, no one can pin you down. The formless can't be grasped, can't be anticipated, can't be defeated. Conclusion. And there you have it. 48 laws that have been operating in human society since the dawn of civilization. These aren't Robert Greene's inventions. He didn't create these dynamics. He just had the courage to write them down. And yes, this book makes people uncomfortable. Some call it evil, manipulative, cynical. And you know what? I get it. These ideas can be used for terrible purposes. But here's the thing. Dismissing this book as a guide to being evil completely misses the point. Robert Greene didn't invent these laws. He observed them. He spent a lifetime studying 3,000 years of history, and what he discovered is that these power dynamics are timeless. They were at play in ancient China, in Renaissance Italy, and they're at play right now in your office, in politics, and yes, even in your personal relationships. Ignoring these laws doesn't make them go away, it just leaves you defenseless. It's like walking onto a battlefield unarmed, believing that if you're a good person, no harm will come to you. But the world, as Greene reminds us, is full of people who aren't so noble. The real value of this book, especially for someone just starting out, isn't as an offensive manual. It's a defensive one. It's a guide to self-preservation. It teaches you to recognize the games being played around you. It gives you a framework for understanding why people act the way they do, why your boss might take credit for your work, why a friend might betray you, why a charismatic leader can make people do irrational things. This book isn't about becoming a heartless manipulator. It's about becoming a shrewd observer of human nature. It's about understanding that power is a game, and it's far better to be a master of the game than to be a pawn. So how can you start applying these lessons today without becoming a monster? I believe it comes down to 3 simple practices. First, become a better observer of people. This is the foundation of everything. Spend less time talking and more time listening. Watch what people do, not just what they say. Notice the little details, the unconscious gestures. Who do people look at when they speak? Who holds the real influence in a group, beyond the official titles? By becoming a student of human nature, you arm yourself with the most valuable knowledge of all. Second, master your own emotions. This is the most difficult, but also the most crucial step. The next time you feel a surge of anger, or defensiveness, or desire, don't just react. Take a step back. Ask yourself, why am I feeling this? Is this emotion serving me, or is it making me a puppet for someone else? The space between an event and your reaction to it is where your power lies. The more you can widen that space, the more control you'll have over your own destiny. And third, learn to think a few steps ahead. Most people are trapped in the present moment, reacting to what's right in front of them. The powerful are always thinking about the future. They don't just consider the immediate consequences of their actions. They consider the consequences of those consequences. When you're about to make a decision, don't just think about your next move. Think about the move after that. Think about how your opponent will react and how you will react to their reaction. This foresight is what separates the masters from the amateurs. We've covered a lot of ground today, and these are powerful, sometimes difficult ideas. My goal wasn't to give you a complete playbook, but to open a door. The 48 Laws of Power isn't a book you read once. It's a book you live with, a book you return to again and again as you navigate the complexities of life. This summary is just the beginning of that conversation. The real wisdom comes not just from knowing the laws, but from developing the intelligence to know when and how to apply them, and sometimes when to break them. Now, we've hit the highlights today, but I'll be honest with you. A summary can only take you so far. The real magic happens when you get your hands on the book yourself. It's in those quiet moments when a particular story or a simple phrase connects with something you're going through in your own life. This journey we took today is designed to help you decide if this book is worth your time. If anything we've talked about has sparked your curiosity or made you think, I truly encourage you to grab a copy. Reading it isn't just about learning. It's an experience that can genuinely change the way you see the world and your place in it. There's a link to the book in the description below. Also, if you found this summary valuable and want to continue exploring the ideas in some of the most influential books ever written, please consider hitting that subscribe button. It lets me know you're out there, and it ensures you won't miss our next journey into another life-changing book from the billionaire's bookshelf. Let's keep learning and growing together.